Okay, I think it's about time we start. If you can hear me in the comment section, can you just drop an emoji or something? Can you hear me? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. Alrighty. Nice, nice, nice. Kolawole Ezekiel, thank you for being here. Is the stream clear? Like, is the picture quality is it like super readable? Let me share my screen so that you guys can see that. Can you see my screen? Like, is it visible enough? If it is, just like drop a comment so that I know what is up. Akin Bomi Oluwadamilare, yeah, thanks for making it to this stream. It's my first time doing this, so I'm not like sure what the best setting is. I'm thinking that we may have to move to Discord if it is not like very clear. So let me know if you can see my VS Code, the VS Code page, so that we know if we should keep, if we should keep it here on YouTube or we should move to Discord. Because I tested out Discord and I noticed that Discord is like way clearer. So let me know if you can see the code editor clearly. Then we can start. Just drop your comments, please. Okay. It looks like we're good. So yeah, thank you, AY. So I'm going to so I have like a list that I have made. So we're just going to go straight to source diving. We are just going to go straight into we're going to go straight into thank Kolawole Ezekiel. We're going to go straight into the source code. However, I want to like put out a tweet so that we can remind people. Then I'm going to share the link to the tweet. So just 1 second, I'm going to copy the link to the comment section so that you can like retweet. I'm going to do it live so that why not? It's not about bragging, right? So let's do a little bit of bragging. And I wish you guys can. We are live. Okay. Post. Boom. So please uh, if you are here, you want to retweet the link that I'm going to drop shortly in the comments section. Then if you retweet it, you may just like drop something, a message, whatever works for you. So please retweet that, help post it, and let's get going. I'm gonna wait 5 seconds for you to repost that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gone. Thank you for posting. And if you did not post, thank you for not posting. Anyways, yeah, I'm happy about it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Happy to have you here. Super happy to have you here, really. So yeah, today we're talking about DevDb. A lot of you already have seen the gist one way or the other, maybe on Twitter or my WhatsApp status. For those of you that are like super close to me, you have my contact. I've been ranting about this thing for a couple of weeks now. I think it started late October, November, something like that, And the idea was like, in our VS Code, right? We use the terminal inside the IDE, inside VS Code. But then when it comes to our database, yeah, we go to another application to go and view our database. And you agree with me that when you are using your terminal inside, excuse me, I got an SMS. Yeah. When you are using your terminal inside the IDE, the experience is always very different from when you are using your terminal that in your stock OS terminal. And the point is that when you have it integrated, like your terminal integrated into the IDE, and you're using that, the experience is baked in, so your stock OS terminal is just there. It's general purpose, it's for your OS. But the one that comes with your IDE, you see things like the default working directory being the project directory, and those kinds of integrations. So why not do the same thing for databases? Why do we have to go to another app to go and view our database? And then, as if that is not annoying enough, we now have to configure that database. That application, the database application, right? So take, for example, you are using PHPMyAdmin or TablePlus or whatever database GUI tool. You most likely will open the settings page to add a new connection or something like that. Then you put like the host name, the password, the user, and all that stuff you've already done in your app code, right? So it makes it like something that I think can be better, and that is what I try to achieve with DevDb. DevDb is a VS Code extension that will automatically load your database configurations right from your application code. Yeah. So how does it work? Let's demystify VS Code extensions. Yeah. So this is like the juiciest part of this stream. So it starts with a file called extensions.ts or .gs if you're using JavaScript. I'm using TypeScript, so .ts. And let me, 1 second please. I want to be able to do 2 things at the same time. Yeah. Okay. So, pardon please. So, this file. Let me see if I can drop a link to the. So I don't need to explain a lot of things. If I can just like drop the link to some of the basics, right? So I'm dropping the link to the VS Code documentation, the official guide for getting started with extensions. So if you check that page, you're going to see that it starts with a file called extension.cs or extend.js, extension.whatever, and this function called activate. Yeah. So activate is the function that VS Code is going to call when your extension is activated. Yeah. And then if you have any questions, you can just drop the questions in the comments, so that I don't want us to have like a separate section for questions. A separate session for questions. So just drop your questions in the comments. I'm reading the comment section, then I will just pick it up, so that we don't have to like waste time on questions in a different session. So yeah, then drop comments if you're hearing me. If you are following, just like drop a comment so that I know I'm not like talking to myself. I hate this thing, because I wish I can see you guys' faces and like you are chatting together and all that. This is like a radio thing. Anyways, please drop your comments so that I know I'm not alone here. So activate is a function. So for example, it means that you cannot change the name of this function and so on and so forth. It has to be activate inside extension.ts. And it receives an argument called context, which is like your VS Code context, your VS Code application instance, the VS Code instance that the extension is running in. Thank you, Akin Bomi. Yeah. Okay. Let's me. So you okay, cool. So inside the activate function is where your thank you, Genesis. Inside your activate function is where now your custom logic comes in. This is the beginning of your VS Code extension. So whatever thing you want the extension to do, you do it inside this activate function. This is where your superpowers come. This is where your superpowers start from. Now, before we go into the body of this activate function, we are going to talk about how does your extension get activated. Your extension gets activated when something called activation events happen. So activation events are the things that VS Code uses to know if it should activate your extension, right? And then, like we said, activating your extension simply means calling this activate function that you are currently seeing on the screen. Yeah, so now let us so that's like 14 minutes now into the stream. So that's like general overview, everything you need to know about VS Code extension and intro to DevDb. So let us go to how the magic happens behind the scenes for DevDb, right? So like I mentioned, activate method function gets called when activation events happen. There are different kinds of activation events. It can be when a file is open, for example. It can be when whatever. There are different kinds of activation events. But for DevDb, the activation events. So before I go forward, this is where you define activation events. Package.json. Then you go to activation events. So you can see it's an array. So you can listen for more than one activation event. Yeah. Now, DevDB listens for 2. Although it is just one that is listed here, in this array, but the other one is like automatic. Yeah. So here you can see on line 48 we are saying if the workspace contains a file called .devdbrc, and like some of you may already be aware, .devdbrc is the configuration file for DevDB. So if we cannot automatically load your database from your application code, then you want to provide this configuration file for us to see and know what your database configuration is. So hopefully you don't need to use this file, but we activate the extension if we see this file in your project folder, in your project folder. So that is DevDB. That is this activation event. The second one is if your extension contributes a view, right? Like in our case, you can see on line 67, we are contributing a view called DevDB container, and with these properties, right? So views in VS Code are simply, these things below your editor window. So you can see these problems, you can see output, you can see debug. So these are views, right? You can see git length, you can see terminal is also a view. So this on the left, this sidebar is also a view, and so on and so forth. So when you contribute any view, then a kind of like a custom or like a silent or like an invisible event, activation event, is registered for you here when that view is open. Yeah. So for DevDB, it means that when we open the DevDB view, yeah, then that activation event automatically happens, and that means what? This function is run. So let's go to this activation function for DevDB. So DevDB has like it's like two projects in one, right? So this is the extension code. Then there's a second one for the UI. So that's like a separate thing. So let me see if I can DevDB UI. Yeah. So this is the code for the front end, right? So I won't like bore you with many details, because this is like just normal view stuff, so I won't like go into the details of like how the button works and when you click the button and all that. So the fun is really in the extension code, right? But I just wanted to know that the thing that drives the front end, the physical part of the extension, is a separate code that is like view. For a number of reasons, I want that to be like a separate project, so that we can like iterate and work on the front end on that UI without necessarily like waiting on the back this extension code and all that. So yeah, just want to mention that. So this assets is the view project assets. So you can see we instantiated here, and then we assign the value here using this function get view assets. And get view assets, when you check it out, it is simply reading the VS Code. It is reading the extension path, because when you bundle your extension and you release it to the marketplace and people install it in their VS Code, it lives in a folder, in a directory on their machine, right? So yeah, you have that here as extension part. So we are getting that here. We're getting all the files there, right? And then all we are doing is we are checking if uh, if it's a file, it ends with the JS or that's for the JS files, and then for the CSS files, of course, if it ends with the CSS, and then we resolve the promise, so you have to return you have to resolve a promise because we are returning a promise on asynchronous function call. Then we return the JS file and the CSS file, and that is just simply what we package from the view code. So this is the view project for the front, for the UI. And when you come to the package.json for the TypeScript build, you see we are exporting this, the JS, and this, the CSS. So we're essentially just loading those in here, right? So when we get those assets, we assign it to that asset variable, and then if we don't have an asset, we just return, and we show an error. We return early, and yeah. So then the fun part again begins here, where we have the view provider. The view provider is what receives the VS Code context, the JavaScript file that we just resolved from where I just showed you, and the CSS file, and then we create a new instance of this view provider. And that view provider, if you look at it real quick, it is just, of course, accepting those arguments, and then we load the extension URI from the VS Code context, and then this resolve web view. So the reason why we are using like a class kind of a thing here is because we want to implement an API that is like a standard API in VS Code. You need to have an object that has this exact function name, resolve web view. So that is what we are doing here, because VS Code is going to pass you the web view instance that is currently running in the VS Code extension and the context and an extension token, right? So when we do that, we do a lot of juggernauts to instantiate the web view. So this is also another interesting part. I should show you this. So this is where we get the HTML that is displayed inside the web view, right? So if we dig into that function, we see that all we are doing is, so there are a lot of things that I would just skip because they are outside the context of VS Code extensions generally. Some things about web security, So I'll just skim past those ones real brief. So we get the script URI because for you to load assets in the VS Code extension web view, you need to provide them as URIs, right? So we construct it here. We do this for the script and the style, as JavaScript and the CSS styles. And then we get nonces. Nonces are what we use to build the security policy. These are the things I say I will just skim over, sorry. And then, so we are doing, it's security stuff. So just follow my ranting. So from here, we are doing the normal HTML stuff. So you can see normal doc type, HTML head, body, and the end, the normal thing, right? Okay. So the only thing you need to mind here is that we are loading dynamically the style, the CSS style, using the style URI, and then we are loading the scripts using the standard HTML script tag. The only thing is we are dynamically loading it using the URI that we built, that I showed you just now. And the nonce is what I said is the security part of it. So you can read more on on that, but I will just drop the links or something. So yeah, so that's pretty much how we build the HTML for this. Yeah, and then that is what we get here. Yeah, now we have to find a way for the VS Code extension backend, if you will. Let's just call this one backend, and the view front end, for the sake of simplicity and for the sake of discussion. So if you want to have a way for the backend to communicate with the front end. So you are using events. So of course, VS Code is built using Electron. So Electron has this thing called context bridge. So context bridge is what provides the IPC, the inter-process communication mechanism that VS Code uses, right? So you cannot directly call functions from the back end to the front end or vice versa. So what you want to have is you want to create event handlers. So you send an event from the front end, back end receives the event, you process it, you return another event, So that's how the communication works. That's like DevDb in 100 seconds, right? Okay, so excuse me. So yeah, so when we this is the handler for us, right? So the handler is going to call this function with the data that we got from the event, and then the view, the web view, So let us check this out. So here we are getting the command. So I have like what you would call DSL, So the structure of the message that is passed from the event, from the front end, is such that we have request. So let me show you. I think it's better showing you that. So let me show you an example of an event that we that is here. Bum, bum, bum. So this is so I think I should show you this part of HTML. So this extension that this script that we bundled the other time, this view script, if you recall, I told you it is loading it from the extension URI. That is the script we bundled inside the extension that we shipped to the users, right? So that is built, of course, from package.json, right? Which is here. Where's package.json? And you see, if you go to scripts, yeah. So you see when we compile, we do TypeScript compilation, right? And then when you check the TypeScript configuration, we are outputting to, where are we outputting? It defaults to out. I don't know where. Oh yeah, this is our output directory, right? Defaults to out, right? And what that does, it compiles down your TypeScript files to JavaScript. Essentially, that's what TypeScript compilers do. Yeah. So your I want to get where we're loading. Let me see. These assets JS file. Okay, yeah. So this is going to be I want to look for a way to explain this that it won't confuse you guys. Okay, now UI shell is the shell. So I call it shell because like a shell, it encloses something. So the UI shell is what we use to wrap the view front end, the other project that I said where I said we are doing the front end stuff. UI shell wraps that. And how does it wrap it? It in package.json, if you go to the dependencies, is it what it's called here? Yeah. You see that we have a dependency called DevDb UI, right? And what it does is it sends two directories into the parent and into this folder, right? Now, DevDb UI inside DevDb UI is what we use to. Oh, yeah. Okay. So DevDb UI is what you want. That's like the namespace you are using to like load. Is the node package name for whatever it is you are importing. So in this case, you are importing this file. So because they're in the same like so if you check, you see that we have DevDb UI here, So what we are doing here is we are importing DevDB. So if you want to be able to contribute to DevDb UI, you want to know that. So in the future, I'm going to like release as an npm package, of course, so that we can build that separately. But yeah, you want to just like import that and then use it in your front end file, in your view files in this case. So this styles.css is coming from the view package, So anyways, I think that's like confusing, but I think I should just show you like how that works under the hood. So handling incoming messages, we are going to do this kind of thing, event, set up event handlers. Yeah. So you see we add an event listener. This is what VS Code will send to you, right? So these are the things I was talking about, the way we build this, the way we build what I'm doing here, index of this column. It's essentially just stripping off this column, So you see, we say everything after this column is the command, right? So the DSL is so you're going to have things like request colon. So here, post message, yeah. So you can see everywhere I'm posting message from the front end, right? If you search that, so you see this command is get table data, for example. This command is get tables. This command is get available providers, etc. Right? So that is what we are passing here. That is what we are passing here. So when we get a command, we now build like an object of actions. So each action, each key in that action corresponds to the action that we support, like the front end can send to us. Like for example, this get available providers. I just showed you where we got that one inside this file. Yeah, this is it. Okay. So then the values of those objects are essentially like what we do, the actions, the things we do to fulfill that request. So in the case, so the first thing that happens, of course, I think the order of this are also the order it happens, in real life, in DevDB daily use. So get user preferences, we get user preferences, that's descriptive enough. Get available providers is what shows you what you see. So let me run this quickly. So yeah, I think I should just run I'm showing you stuff. So this is an extension. This is DevDb running inside extension host. So this thing we have here, listing Laravel SQLite and then FilePicker, they are providers. They provide database, connection, service. So that is what we do here, right? So it is because we made this, we send this event to this extension code at the back end that we are able to get these things. And how did we do that? So let us just look at how we got the Laravel on. So get available providers is it's a promise. We're resolving a promise there. So what are we doing there? We map through the list of providers, and where did we define that? Here, right? So providers, we have currently Laravel local SQLite, FilePicker, config file, and then Laravel MySQL. So that these are the providers that we currently have. So like if you want to contribute a new provider, for example, maybe you want to contribute for WordPress MySQL, you want that to be automatically loaded by DevDb. You first want to configure the provider or create a provider. So let us look at, so we say we want to look at local Laravel SQLite. So let's look at local Laravel SQLite. So excuse me. So every provider implements this interface in the TypeScript stuff. So it needs to have a name. The name is what we show here. This one, I guess. Sorry, I didn't mean to click that. The type is either SQLite or MySQL, because those are the two databases that we support currently. Maybe I was supposed to name that one database, but whatever. Then the ID of that provider should be unique. It's a string. The description. Then the engine, the database engine that it provides. So we have an interface for that too. So this is like if you want to implement Postgres, for example, we have to implement all these methods for any database, at least currently. These are the methods that you want to implement, the functions. So is that all we need to know? Yeah, then the cache, you can just read like the type definition for those things. Then a function to boot it, so booting is what we first do to each provider to test that they are like okay to run and all that. Then if it can be used in the current workspace, so for example, if we are in a let me see here. If you are in a WordPress MySQL project, we don't want Laravel to show. We don't want any of these whatever to show. So if it can be used in the current workspace, we only want to show the providers that is applicable, that is useful in the current workspace, right? Then this is how we provide the database engine for the extension. So like you can just like dive into the source code for this extension to like see the like fine-grained details, right? So let us continue to where we are using that. Available providers. So that is what we just did. So this is a provider, we map over them. Then we call the boot method I just showed you, right? So if it has, and you see that the boot method is like optional, so if it is not bootable, you don't need to add a boot. But if it has like a boot, we call the boot method function. Then we call that can be used in current workspace to check if that provider is useful if, like I mentioned, if you're in a Laravel project, we don't want to show WordPress providers and so on and so forth. So that can be used. So we now return, a boolean for if the provider can be used or not. So that is how we get available providers. So then we now filter those that are not null. Of course, then we'll map over them. So mapping over them is where we provide we create a new object, so that has name, type, blah blah blah, and the options. So these options, for example, is what gives you, if you have like a config file, I don't have, let me bring a config file here real quick to explain that. Yeah, let me waste time on that. I don't waste time on that. Anyways, the options, where was I? Source code, yeah. So the options is sometimes a provider has more than one option. So in the configuration file provider, we can have more than one database specified there, right? So that is how we provide that many options. So that is how we get the providers, for example. So what we just simply do is we'll execute the action here. We await the response. If there's a response, we reply with response column command. Yeah, again, these are all DSLs. These are just like DSLs, like languages, like constructs and structures that are specific to DevDb to help us with code organization. So we use response column, then the command to tell the front end that your response is ready. So what is the reply doing? It is simply posting a message to the web view. So these are AY messaged me that I should just not talk about things in the docs. So when you check the docs, the documentation, you can see how that post message is how you post a message to the web view. And web front end takes it up from there. So you see VS Code dot where is that? Event listener, yeah. So I showed us this the other time we were here. So when we receive that event, we check the payload type, and don't forget we built everything here. This is the type and then the value, right? So that's what we are reading here. This is the type. If it is response to get available providers like we just did, we load the providers, and that's all. That's all we need to do. And because the provider is reactive, you can see view stuff, right? Then the front end and the provider we pass to that let me show you. Yeah, we pass to DevDB front end. So this we have now left the back end stuff, the extension stuff in code, and we are now talking about the view part now, reactivity and all that. So at the core of DevDB is view reactivity, apart from the extension stuff, because now we are talking about exchanging events. So for example, you see events handlers here. Yeah. So we are just talking to the front end, this view project, if you recall. Where is it? Yeah, this view project, using events, listen to events. So when, for example, here we say close table components, sorry, so close one second. Oh yeah, don't mind me, sorry. Main view. So this is like a wrapper around. So this is what we use to test stuff. I want us to round up this stream as soon as possible. So main view, right? So close. So when you click on the close button, for example, we emit this event close. Yeah, and then I'm on the main branch. Yeah. Close table. That other event is a different event, right? Let me check it out again. Sorry. Oh yeah. So there's a close of this. The close of, let me show you the close. The close of closing the bam bam bam. Let me open something. Closing this, yeah. That close, yeah. Then there's a close of, you have a table open, you want to close that table, right? So two closes. So we are talking about the close of this, of the other close now. This close table, yeah. So when we emit this event close table by clicking that button that we just saw, this button here, that's mark icon, that X icon, we call this function, and what does it do? It will do a lot of stuff. At the end of the day, it emits this close table event. Excuse me. And then when we emit that event, which we listen to here at close table, we call close table, and all we are doing is we are deleting that, that item from the array of tables. Yeah. So yeah, so that's pretty much DevDB. You are just like using events to communicate, to and fro. And yeah, that is like DevDB, like in a nutshell. I'm surprised that nobody asked like questions. So yeah, I'm assuming that is either, so it's one of two things. Is either like super unclear and I'm like ranting and nobody understands me, or it is like I'm taking my time to like explain so well that you guys are getting it. So which of the two, please? Because I'm not seeing any questions in the comments. Everything is just like calm. Of course, I know it's a technical dive, so yeah, we just want to like watch and listen and all that. But I want to be sure that we are on the same page with the progress of the stream. So yeah, drop comments, please. Let me know if you are like following and like you're understanding, or it's like it's super confusing, or like I'm talking too fast and all that crap. So please drop your comment. Yeah, so that is what all we do. We just listen to messages and we reply, we fulfill those requests, right? And so that goes for all of the events, so you can see get provider and all that, blah blah blah. So on my list now, so yeah, I should mention like something like so if we open like a Laravel project, let me open this. So and you are in the users, model. You can see this code lens, it is called in VS Code, called view table. And when you click on it, it opens the users table, right? Like magic. If we were in the task table model, we see the same thing. And when we click on view table, it shows the tasks table, right? So how does that kind of magic happen? I'm not seeing you guys comment in the comment section. What's going on? Are we still alive? My VS Code Studio says that we have like 9 viewers. So I'm surprised that nobody is commenting. Am I making sense? I don't know. Maybe all of you have ghosted me. Please let me know if you understand what I'm ranting about, or it's like super confusing. Drop your comments, please. I want to like hear from you too, so I'm not just ranting. Okay, so how does that kind of magic boom happen? How does this happen? So it starts with what is called code contributions, right? So if you go to DevDB, you see this tab called feature contributions. So you see that we contribute a settings, we contribute a command, two commands, then that view container that I told you about, then view is, we contributed a view container inside a view, right? Then the activation event that I told you about the other time too. So on language PHP, so yeah, this is like an old version of, I've removed this PHP thing. So it's only this workspace contains, and then I've changed the file extension, of course. So this contribution is where you see like what is going on with the extension. What can it do, right? So the library thing I just showed you about, automatically opening the table for a model, is from this contribution ID. Open table at cursor, right? Then the other one is the opening of the DevDB view container. So that's just like a command that you can use Control KD. So Control KD, you bring up the so that's what that contribution is for. But this is what we're talking about, right? So this is contributed by package.json. Is where you see your contributions, right? Context menu. Oh, sorry. Boom, 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 boom. What? Oh, I'm in the wrong file. Package.json of the extension project. So let's check that out. Yeah. So you can see the contribute key. I'm not seeing you guys comment. What's going on? What is going on? There are 3 people watching. Yeah. Okay. So you see the title, blah blah blah. So this is the command, right? So this is the command that we are contributing, and if you check the extension that I told you about the other time, we see this is where we register what happens. We subscribe. We create a command, with this ID, and this is the body. This is what happens when we run that command. Open cursor at current. Open table at current cursor. No, so that's a different one. We provided the code lens. The one we're talking about is a code lens. This one is about let me show you that real quick. So if we, for example, do we have tasks? This is to do app. Okay, I thought we have like tasks. Okay, yeah, tasks. Do we have belongs to user? Yeah, okay. So we can right click to say open table at cursor in DevDB. Then it does the same thing, right? So that is what this open table at current cursor position is doing. So and what does that really do? All we are doing there is we are getting the editor from the VS Code namespace, and we get a document from there. We get a cursor position from there. We select a word range, blah blah blah. We we just get a table name. Let me just summarize. Get a table name. Then we call set active table. And what set active table does, if you remember, is we are simply sending a message to the front end. Send message to web view. Post message. That same post message API that we use in the reply. If you remember, that reply function is all we are doing here. And then when we receive that in the front end IDE, yeah, when we receive that, we just set the active table, and that's all. And then the front end picks the view part of it, picks it up from there. And what else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah, so this stream is 1 hour. I don't want it to be like more than 1 hour. We contributed 2 things. I want to like, this is the open cursor, which I've explained how it works. Yeah, so the second one is the code length. So that code length is simply here. So we just create like, so a code length is that thing you see, you know, this kind of thing. It's called a code length. Actionable things that when you click or something happens. And what we are doing there is simply we are registering. So when does your code length activate? When does it trigger? We are doing it when there is a file that is .php, you know, pretty much that's what that line is saying. And what we need to happen is what we put inside here. Code length provider. So this is the provider, we register for it. And this is what happens, provides code length. What we do is we get eloquent model in the document. Yeah. So, and how do we do that? We just look at the app/models folder, and we look for all the files there, of course. And then we get all the tables in the database. Yeah. And then we just map through and look for the ones that matches. Where is that? Okay, so class space, you know, regex thing. Excuse me. And we get the word at that position, and we register the code length. So open blah blah blah. All this you are seeing here is just what is shown here. Open tasks table, you know, open entry.table. Okay, you guys are not commenting. What's going on? So yeah, so that is how we contribute code lengths, provide code lengths, sorry. And yeah, so that's like pretty much everything DevDb in 1 hour. So yeah, so that's all on my own lists, but you guys are not talking, so I don't know what else you want to hear, and I hope I'm still audible. If I'm still audible, one second please. If I'm still audible, can you just like drop like an emoji, or what's it called, a comment? Oh, it is Saturday morning, sorry, Friday morning. It's looking like a Saturday morning to me. So yeah, you guys should like indicate if you are listening to me, if you are hearing me. I'm curious to know if I've been speaking to myself for the past 1 hour. The last comment was in 11:12. Yeah, that's like 1 hour. Who is there? Who is there? Nobody is commenting. You guys are brutal to me today. I'll be like listening and talking to myself. All right. Let me just wait for 1 minute. See if you guys will repent. Or are you guys all planning to come and watch it later or something? I don't know. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. AY, I think AY is not like live. AY is like a tracked. Then my wife responded that she can hear me and see me. But you're not fooling, you're a medical doctor. My wife is my greatest supporter, by the way. Shout out to you, baby. So yeah, my wife and myself are the people in this stream. And AY is like he wound back the video because he was lagging behind. I think. So he's not catching up with us yet. So I'm not sure if he messaged me privately. That's how I know. But I don't know the thing happened to the remaining 2 people, because it says four people watching. 4 people watching, and my wife and AY, so remaining 2. So the 2 people, what's going on? Did you open your browser? You started watching and you left when I started talking too complicated stuff, or what? Okay. Yeah. So I was thinking of adding like Postgres provider, so that people that are using Postgres database can also use DevDb in their project. But I don't know, you guys are not like making this thing as fun as I thought it will be. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and launch version 1.0. We are observing. Kolawole Ezike says they are observing. Okay. Okay. Observations noted. It's okay to observe, of course. Thank you, Kolawole, for observing. I mean, at least you're observing. Some people are not doing anything. Yeah. Bum. But I'm not sure if you gained anything from the stream or something, if you like learn. So my objective for this, my aim for this stream is for you to understand that. Okay, AY, thank you. For you to understand that VS Code's magics, the many magics the extensions do, they are like very trivial things. Code lens, see, just create a provider for code lens. View, a whole web view, that hosts DevDB. It's just like a view app that we built, compiled, use that HTML thing I showed you to present. What other thing? Context menu. We provided that also using the context, this, what is it called? We subscribed to context menu event. So they are not like magical things, and they are like pretty interesting things. Excuse me, sorry about that. So that's my first aim. The second aim is I want to show you how like DevDB works under the hood. So that if you want to add support for Postgres yourself, or you want to do XYZ, you know where to go, what files to dig into. And so the remaining files, I'm not like going to go through every single one of the files, because when you understand what I've explained, it is easy for you to now say, oh, this is MySQL. Okay, let me see what it does. Then you can easily know, no, these are services. So let me show you database MySQL engine. So you just implement that interface that we saw. Is it okay? How does it know if it is okay? If we can authenticate using SQLize, we are using SQLize under the hood anyways to make our lives easier, right? And if SQLize can authenticate using the configuration that we provided, then it returns true. Yeah. Disconnect, I showed you, all this. So don't forget that we are implementing this interface. Where is that? 1 second, please. Database engine. We are implementing is okay. Get tables, get columns. The basic TypeScript stuff. So that's what we are doing here. Get table creation SQL. Excuse me. For example, get tables. What do? We run the normal show tables SQL statement, right? And we get the response, we return it. What of get columns for a given table? The same thing, show columns for. So these are like mixing SQL with JavaScript, to do fun stuff, right? Sorry, I have cold. And I don't have water here. I hope my wife can come and get me water. Anyways, sorry. Yeah, and then we return the columns, right? We return it, like in a way that we can easily use in the front end. So that's just DevDB. Providers, MySQL provider. As for Laravel, I'm planning to add maybe WordPress and like maybe Symfony and all these popular frameworks and all that. Same thing for SQLite. SQLite has 2 providers. One for Laravel, one where you select the file, and this is the one that has options. And the options, are simply the options are simply that's not here, but you get the gist. I don't want to like spend too much time anymore on this stream. Those are like those 2 people, Kolawole and Oyela Falola, that are like responding, and there are some people watching, because I have like a tab here that I'm used to monitor, and I'm seeing some people watching, but only Oyela Falola and Kolawole Ezekiel, and my wife, who is not a developer. I don't know what she's doing on this stream. I don't know where she is then. Babe, are you chatting from the room? I think she's in the room or something. So I don't know why you guys, the remaining 5 of you people, I don't know why you're not talking. Anyways, so that's the fun stuff with DevDB. So I'm assuming there are no questions. I'm assuming you guys are all happy. You guys are all happy, and you guys are all green. Okay. Yeah, so it is true that people are going to watch this stream later. Excuse me. I think moving forward, maybe we are going to do like Discord. What do you guys think? I think this unidirectional communication thing with YouTube streams is not fun. So I have to like distract myself, read the comments, whereas we can all like be on like Discord video chats where everybody is able to talk then it's more, I think it's going to be more interactive that way. So yeah, so what do you guys think? Do you think YouTube stream is the way to go for like future events like this, or we should do Discord? So I created a Discord server last night. Thank you. I created a Discord server last night for DevDb, and I'm thinking that that is going to be more, although the implication will be that excuse me, the implication is going to be that we will not be able to have like streams. Okay, Zoom. Okay, so it was suggesting Zoom. So the implication is that we're not going to be able to have like this kind of, so like this stream we are doing now is going to be recorded under DevDb playlist on my channel. So it means that we are not going to have like that kind of documentation, where people will be able to come and check on what we did. Or maybe we are going to do screen recording for the Zoom to YouTube. I don't know. Well, I think we'll figure something out. But I think this one-way communication thing, and depending on comment for feedback, it's not doing it. I'm not feeling it. So yeah, let's just launch version 1 live, because that's like one of the things that we want to do here. So from the DevDb VS Code directory, we do VSC publish major. No, major, and that is how you publish VS Code extensions, and that's all. Yeah, you can check the docs for like what's happening behind the scenes. So AY is saying Zoom, then live stream to YouTube via Zoom. Okay, so Zoom can live stream to YouTube. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. It's gonna make it more interactive. Because I'm not like doing a tutorial or anything like that. We are like supposed to be like having vibes, which is the point that AY mentioned, that I should be mindful of people that watch this stream later. I don't want it to make it like too much technical. I know I want it to be like if kind of, so if you join these Twitter spaces that they call vibes, tech vibes, Kinecon, you see people are just less formal, more informal, and more interactive, right? But because of the nature of what YouTube streams are, it is what it is. So yeah, we're going to do Zoom next, or Discord. I don't know. I will discuss with AY. We figure something out. By the way, thanks AY for sticking to the end. Yeah. 1 second, please. Yeah, so this is 1 hour 14 minutes. I think we should call it a day. So yeah, we have published it. Let us check the marketplace and see what we have. Is it there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet? What's the version here? It's 0.16. So yeah, it says here, it says might take a few minutes, right? So let us just let's just give them some time, and then version 1 should be available shortly. Yeah. So thank you. I think we should wrap up now. If you don't have any questions, thank you for hanging out with me today. I appreciate those of you that stayed to the very end. AY. AY is my mentor and my big boss, by the way, if you didn't know. Uh yeah, Kola Wole. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for noticing. Yeah, that's very, that I gave my editor more than enough brainy space. Yeah, because I love it that way. Yeah, that's the kind of vibes that I want us to be having, man. Thank you, Kolawole, for that comment. So you can say I have like less than 10 lines in a screen full, and for whatever. So I posted something on Twitter, and people are like, "What kind of line height is this?" And I don't know. Excuse me. I just want to fit just enough context on the screen at one time. I don't want everything. I don't want to say everything at once. Just show me, you know, contextual things, just chunks. So yeah, usually I just have like less than 10 lines on the screen at one time, and that's like super for me. You know. So and it gets better when you're in like in an HTML like a view file. You only see what you need to see. You don't see everything at once. You know. You see, and then it means that you see I have like very small components. My form fits in one page. Yeah. You know. So yeah, thank you, Kola Wole. And yeah. So if there are no more questions, yeah, I think we should call it a day. Let's refresh this one more time and see, because I want to like have it on record that we publish 1.0 live on stream. But what we published it together, we all saw it, so I did not lie. Yeah. So thank you all for coming. No questions, no comments. I really appreciate you. 4 people that stayed to the very end. I'm super, super grateful. 15 people joined, really, but for whatever reason, I was too boring for them. So, but yeah, I really appreciate that you guys stayed to the very end. Thank you. So watch my Twitter space for like when we're going to be having maybe the next stream. Um, and I'm going to be like dropping things regarding DevDB and all of that. So thank you all. I really appreciate you guys. Yeah, bye for now. You can wave if you are not shy. Just wave in the comment section. Bye.